You're listening to Braless Watch, where a mother and daughter team offer their own opinions on watching TV through a feminist lens.
I'm Beth, the mom.
And I'm Lily, the daughter.
Welcome to Braless Watch, where TV watching gets a whole new perspective. Clothing is optional.
Hi.
Hi.
How are you today?
I'm excited because I love this show.
Oh yeah, me too. If I ever need a laugh, this is the show to watch.
Yeah.
This is it.
Yeah.
So today we're going to be talking about the show called Coupling. It's a UK show. It ran for 4 seasons. And we're going to be talking about series 1 or season 1. Yeah.
I'm excited.
It's a great show. It's so funny.
I was laughing so much when I was watching it, and I've seen it, I don't know, 6-7 times.
Yeah. Even if you know what's happening, it's so funny just to watch them do it.
It's brilliantly written, I think.
It is.
Because I had so many quotes, and some of them I didn't even catch because I was like, there's going to be too many. I can't just fill the whole show with quotes.
I mean, we could.
But
then you might as well just watch the show.
Right. Yeah. And I did leave some stuff out on purpose because I was like, I don't want to give away all of it.
I did not. I got every quote I could. So Coupling uses the ensemble cast format or group genre. It was really first popularized by the show Friends, which was actually, that format started with Living Single.
Which was an all-black cast.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, that's a great show,
and eventually
too.
we'll do that show. Yeah.
Great show. Coupling is based off of the creator's relationship. He's known for doing that. So he created the show. So Stephen Moffat, he created the show Joking Apart based off the breakdown of his first marriage.
Mm-hmm.
So this one was based off of his getting back into the dating world and finding his next partner, Sue, which is why not the main characters. 2 of the characters are named Steve and Sue.
Yeah.
Or Susan.
Susan. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's based
They're
on their relationship.
Inserts.
Yeah. Into the storyline, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. The writing in this is really, really good.
Mm-hmm.
So,
well,
I really enjoy that.
That's not surprising because Stephen Moffat, you may know his name because he's a very famous Scottish television writer, mostly famous for Doctor Who and Sherlock.
Oh, well, then there you go. That's, yeah. Call me done. Just stick
He's done a bunch
in
of
me.
other sitcoms and stuff, but yeah.
I'm sure I've seen other stuff of his and didn't realize that he was part of that. So that makes a whole lot of sense. So, yeah, I'm attracted to really good writing.
And that's why they reference a lot of sci-fi stuff as well.
Okay.
Because he knows a lot of sci-fi stuff.
Yeah. Okay.
So
very cool. The series is set in London.
Yes.
Yeah. Like a London dating scene, right? So they have a bar they go to. They have a local restaurant they go to.
Oh, it's sort of like a wine bar situation. That restaurant, it changes over time.
It does.
It's sort of like a wine bar, though.
Why do they drink beer? No,
at the main bar, yeah, but at the other one where the girls tend to hang out, that's the restaurant, but it's also sort of a wine bar.
Okay. So
shall we start with trigger warnings before we get too far?
Yeah, we can do trigger warnings before we do the cast. So there's not a lot of trigger warnings. This is a comedy, so there's not a lot of trigger warnings, but I do have some trigger warnings for like some social stuff and things like that. So sexual content.
That's a big one.
And innuendo is really big.
Those are the big ones.
This series, yeah. There is some LGBT themed stuff. So LGBT themed content. Some of it does come across as tropes, and I put that in quotes. So some of us who are in the LGBT community might take some of this as an offense, but this was done in the early 2000s. So this is back before.
It started in 2000. So
yeah, this is back before it was really.
We'll talk about it. We'll talk about the LGBTQ stuff.
Then I separated that out from LGBT themes and social constructs because that's different when you're having like social constructs of dating and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
So that's also a warning. The aging fears, heterosexual social constructs as well, alcohol consumption, political discussion, body objectification. There's a lot of that.
Oh,
death of a family member, nudity, smoking,
Mhm.
discussions of food, and there's a specific scene, and this will be in our written, but it's around vegetarianism. So all of the specific scenes will be marked in our in the
Mhm.
trigger warnings that I've written a description about that. So like we can warn you on which scenes to be mindful of. So those are the trigger warnings, and then we can move on to cast.
Yes.
Okay. I just kept it to the main characters, the 6
Yeah.
ensemble characters. Susan is played by Sarah Alexander. Sally is played by KateIssett.
Mhm.
Jane is played by Gina Bellman. Steve is played by Jack Davenport. Patrick is played by Ben Miles.
Mhm.
Jeff is played by Richard Coyle.
Yeah.
And you'll notice that a lot of them have gone on to be in movies and other things. So a lot
Mhm.
of these names are really recognizable now.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. All of
So,
them have
yes.
done some great work after this.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. But their acting is so superb in this series. The
Mhm.
acting, the writing, and then the delivery of the lines is just really, really good. Very well paired.
Mhm. Mhm.
Okay.
Okay.
So we're going to do this by episode this time.
Yeah. Well, shall we start with the theme song first
Yeah, I think so
before we
because it's
do
so
that?
catchy. Found myself actually singing it.
So the theme song is Perhaps, 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 and it's sung by Mari Wilson. The song, however, was originally written by Cuban songwriter Alzalbo Fares in Spanish for Bobby Cabo in 1947.
Wow, 1947.
Mm-hmm.
My
So
goodness.
it's originally called Quesas, and it's sometimes repeated, but that's the actual thing. It
Mhm.
was translated to English by Joe Davis, and the first English recording was actually recorded by Desi Arnaz in 1948.
Really?
Yep,
That's amazing. I just got a
yep.
little bit of goosebumps right there. That's amazing.
It was also translated into French and into Turkish.
I think I've heard it in the French version before.
The Turkish rock band one was really good. It is a rock band called Athena.
Ooh,
I listened to them all.
okay.
You want to hear the last fun fact I have about the theme song?
Oh, yeah. Tell me all about it.
It was chosen by Jack Davenport.
Oh, okay. Interesting. I mean, it makes sense with the scenarios that they get themselves in, the drama that they have created for themselves, right?
Right.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
The the situationships they get themselves into.
Right. Just the situations.
They they make some decisions that create these, little pockets of awkwardness and
I mean, that's what a
drama
sitcom
and
does.
yeah, and I think it can reflect real life a little bit
Oh
though,
yeah.
the way the awkwardness is coming
So
up.
a lot of this is based off of the actual dating scene at the time that Stephen Moffat was dealing with and was dealing.
That
And
makes
so
sense.
was his now wife Sue was
Yeah,
dealing with.
that's funny. That's
And
great.
so it was based off of real life. Example in episode 4, the VCR Inferno incident.
Oh,
We'll
yeah.
get there.
Yeah,
That's a
yeah.
real thing. Yeah,
It
we'll
is
get
a
there.
real thing. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Love it. Love it. Okay. Um, so we wanna do episode 1.
Yes.
Episode 1.
Episode 1 is called Flushed.
Oh, and I love this sort of double meaning use of the word, right?
Mhm.
In the episode. Um, and it comes back up again at the end too.
It does in episode
Yeah.
6.
There's a reference, there's a circle back to it. So I love that.
Mhm.
And it kind of traps the audience a little bit with the 2 conversations going on for the first
I
scenes.
love the little intro because it
Yeah.
seems like both of them are going to talk to each other, and they're talking about 2 very different things.
Yep.
One's marriage, one's breakup, and neither one of them are actually going to meet up with the other,
No. Yeah, it's
but they're just
great.
going to the same place.
Yep. Yep. And man, they had Jeff right out of the gate. Character Jeff just,
Mhm.
to be as awkward as possible, like the most, 200% awkward
Right?
in how he views the world and how he interacts with the world. And
Mhm.
even Steve was like, is this going to be like offensive if you tell me what you're thinking
Am
at
I
this
gonna
moment?
regret being your
Yeah,
friend? Yeah.
exactly. Yeah, yeah, yeah. And, it just right over Jeff's head. It doesn't even matter to him, doesn't clock at all.
No, until he tells him to go away. Like, just
Exactly.
walk away.
And I don't know about you, but I think that Jeff is fully neurodivergent.
Oh,
Like,
yes.
he just reads as, maybe an oddie, like a mix of
Yeah,
the two.
he overthinks things.
Yep.
Yeah,
Has
and has his
extreme
own
anxiety.
verbiage for things
Yep.
because there's
Yep.
not an actual word for it, so he creates a word
He
for it.
creates his own vocabulary for things. He has different kinds of ways of viewing the way that he sees his world or sees the world and how he interacts with it.
Mhm.
So, I think that might be my attraction to him as human to human, not
Mhm.
like physical attraction or anything like
Yeah.
that, but just that I really like Jeff and I can relate to that awkwardness and,
Oh, yeah.
creating these scenarios in which he starts talking and it's like, "Jeff, shut up. Stop talking." And then he just
Right?
continues talking, trying to finish the thought, right? Because
Uh-huh.
when you're neurodivergent, you get a train of thought and you just have to get it out of your brain.
Yep. That comes up
Otherwise, it doesn't go
later in
anywhere.
another episode where he's like, "It's relevant," and then it's just not
No.
relevant.
And
How
then
is it
Steve just
relevant?
turns away. Just turns away.
Just focus back on the conversation. We'll get there.
I love it. I love it.
Um,
So I can't remember which scene was first. Was it with Steve and
it
Jane
starts with Steve and Jane, and then it cuts to
to
Susan and Patrick, and then back
right.
and forth between the
Right,
two.
right, right. So the best part of Steve and Jane is Jane just completely not accepting a breakup, right? She's
Correct.
like, we've talked about this before. You just don't realize I won't accept it. So you're just here. You're here and stuck in it. You
Right.
can't.
Don't accept it. So no.
Her argument is, don't I have a say in this?
Yep.
She's really confused as to why she doesn't have a say in the breakup at
In the
all.
breakup.
And she inserts herself as a say.
Yeah.
And this is sort of a glimpse into the power that women are given in this show,
Mm-hmm.
that they sort of have an upper hand in this show,
Mm-hmm.
which you don't find. It's very refreshing. You don't find in shows where there's a slight power differential, right?
Right. It's
In
normally the other way, or the reason there's a power something is because it's a workplace. This
right.
is very different where these are all just friends. Two of them do happen to work together, but they're not in the same field. They're not in the same department. So
I don't know about that because Susan. I was reading about Susan's character. She actually does work in the finance, and Jeff is an accountant.
Jeff
So
is an accountant, but I don't
they,
think
I don't.
they're not like a boss situation. There's
Oh
not
no
a
no no! They're
power.
just coworkers.
Yeah, they're completely coworkers.
Yeah,
There's
there's no
not like
power.
a
Yeah.
power differential. They're all equal across the board.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. Anyway, Jane just refuses to accept that there's going to be a breakup between
Yeah.
them. And then when you can tell there's a shift in her trying to deny that breakup, and then
Right.
she's like, but I haven't told you everything. Then she starts using manipulation.
Yes, she's very, very manipulative. And she knows exactly what she's doing.
Jane is like using all kinds of innuendo and
She
specific
pokes
details.
out her breasts.
Yeah, there's certain. And Steve's like, "Oh my
Don't
god,
do
stop
that thing
doing
with
that!"
your breasts.
Yeah, he's like turning away. He's trying to. The acting's so good.
So I will say for this show, just in total, every episode uses the word breasts, and
Oh
that's
gosh,
for
yeah.
all 4 seasons.
Yeah.
They use the word breasts in everything.
That makes me question. I now have to go back and look because did they reference Patrick's bottom half in every episode as well?
No, but I'm. It's not about. It's about the word breast. The word breast is used in every episode, whether
That's
it's
interesting.
actually referencing a breast or not, like somebody specific. That's neither
Okay.
here nor there. But
Interesting. Wonder why.
fascination by Steven, getting some insight. I don't know into his psyche.
Maybe he's a breast man,
Maybe.
as it were. Okay. Now we're getting a little bit of Speculation on the writer.
on the writer here.
Oh my gosh. Okay. And
Um,
then it cuts to Susan and Patrick in,
yes.
I think, was it Patrick? Yeah, Patrick is like, "Hey, can we talk separately?" Because Sally's there too.
Yeah, so Sally walks away.
Yeah, Sally goes to get another drink or whatever.
Uh-huh.
And then we get the great
Patrick trying to
conversation
break
between,
up with
yes,
Susan, even though she's like, where are we dating? Are
right? What relationship?
we? Right?
And then Patrick's like a little hurt. You could tell there's a little
Uh-huh.
bit of a shift there. He's like, "Wait, I didn't know what was going on," basically. And then I love Patrick because he tells on himself. He tells on himself
Uh-huh.
all the time.
Every time.
There's no valve to stop him from actually saying the things. And in this way, he's a lot like Jeff because Jeff can't stop it
Mhm.
either. But Patrick is a little more finessed at it, right?
Well, and Susan has this great line. She says, "We were only seeing each other once a week. That's not exactly a sex life."
Right? I love the actress when she falls into the couch,
Yeah,
like, oops, you know?
because she admits that they weren't faithful.
Right? Well, the thing is,
She wasn't being faithful.
yeah, this is so funny because I love this argument that she brings up is that, you know, I wasn't being faithful, but I knew I wasn't being faithful, even though we hadn't agreed to that, right? We also didn't agree to being faithful, but you
Right.
were faithful, which means you cheated on me because
Exactly.
you agreed to be faithful to
Yeah,
me.
you were thinking we were being faithful, so now you're cheating on me?
Yeah, exactly. Which throws Patrick off
Uh-huh.
rails. Like,
He has no
you can
idea
just
how
watch
to
the
defend.
train just go down the cliff, right? He doesn't, yeah, he has no
He
defense.
has no defense. He can't control it.
No,
It's all falling apart.
right? He had no footing in this relationship at all, and he's realizing, "Oh, wait, I didn't know what the fuck was going on. I was just having sex with this woman
Yep.
or
That's how
having a relationship with her?"
that's how
Question
she was
mark,
taking it. There was
right?
just sex once a week. So if we go back over to Jane and Steve, eventually they get to the talking about the breakup, but they also mentioned Crippen.
Yes, yeah, I looked that up. Oh my
So
gosh, what a wild story.
right, Crippen is mentioned a couple times because they have this huge argument that's known amongst the group about Crippen. So Crippen was a doctor, an American doctor at that.
Yeah.
He was a homeopath, ear and eye specialist, and a medicine dispenser. And there's a lot to it, but he was hanged for the murder of his wife, or his second wife.
His second wife, yeah. Mhm.
Yeah, his first wife died of a stroke. And there's a lot of speculation, there's a lot of discussion that you could have about this. This could be a whole podcast on its own.
It could. There's a lot of details to that story.
It
And
is.
what's
It's
interesting
also,
is I have listened to a lot of like true crime and stuff and watched TV and stuff on true crime, and this story has never been told that I know of in the circles that I've
well,
and I've
it's
been
really
listening to that for a long time, and I've never heard this story ever.
well, it's really interesting because so he's an American, but he moved to London with
Right.
his second wife because his second wife was a stage performer.
Right.
And so he moved to London, and then that's where the actual hanging, the murder, all that kind of stuff
Yeah,
happened.
the whole case
Was
happened
there.
there. Mhm.
And he was actually the first criminal to be captured via wireless telegraphy, which is a telegram basically.
Yeah.
Because a boat captain happened to recognize him
Ooh,
and his mistress.
wow.
Yeah.
So he was well known enough to be known by face.
Yeah, it with a disguise.
Yeah. So, do you know the
In Canada.
reference Oh, wow. Do you know how the reference is to coupling though? Like it said in the like the AI and
So
stuff said that it had to do with like the work that the Crippens did on their relationship, but I didn't read anything about any of that.
so no, Jane's argument was that they had a great set of years before the death. That's Jane's argument.
It's a very weak argument.
It's a very weak argument. And we don't know what the actual big fight was about Crippen. But we don't
True.
know that because we never see that.
Right.
So this is a reference to the fight that they had about that.
Well, and you can tell Steve is very exasperated. He's like, "Don't bring it up anymore."
Just stop
Right.
bringing up Crippen.
It's really funny.
But there's a lot to that story. Who knows
I
all
mean,
of
if you're
it?
into true crime, it's a really
It's a very
it's a
interesting
humdinger.
story.
Yeah,
It's a
it's a
very
humdinger.
interesting story. Um, anyway, but yeah, that's all of Jane's main thing is that their relationship was good until it went bad. So why not stay in the good until ours goes bad?
Yeah. One, I think we kind of need to backtrack a tiny bit here. Is that this episode's called Flushed,
Oh, I
and
mentioned that.
why is it called Flushed though?
Oh,
And it's
because Jeff.
Jeff calls the hangers on, right? The ones that won't accept being broken up with as unflushables. And you can surmise what that means because I'm not going to describe that. But
No, you can figure it out.
that's what he
Yeah.
that's what the reference is there for being flushed. So Patrick and Sally have conversation too
Mm-hmm.
about because Patrick's interested in another person, which is part of the reason why he's breaking up with Susan and making sure that Susan didn't get, her feels all hurt and
Mm-hmm.
stuff like that because Patrick is
Is
what
this when Sally says, "Is there any form of female behavior you don't interpret as funny or attractive?" And he says,
yes.
"It's never really come up."
Yeah, right? Yes, and then she walks away or something and
Because that's when they do the breakup part, and then she
yeah,
comes
yeah.
back
Yeah,
to
and
try
there
to
was,
flirt with him because now he's a single man.
but as she walks away, he asks Sally, "Then why does that woman keep looking at my ass when
Uh-huh.
we're talking?" And Sally retorts back, "Because she's lip reading." I was like, "Dang, burn!"
Right?
Crazy,
So eventually, Steve gets so close to actually breaking up.
so close.
But then Jane mentions his kryptonite, how she has slept with another woman.
Right,
Elizabeth, I think is the name.
right, yeah.
And he has this whole thing about lesbians.
Lesbians, two women. I'm not entirely
Yeah,
sure if there's a
lesbian
distinction there.
sex.
Maybe,
I
yeah.
like being a voyeur in that
Maybe,
situation.
yeah, yeah.
Um
It is a kryptonite for him because any mention of it and he starts to crumble in the show,
oh
so
yes, and it comes up multiple times.
it does. Yes. It's like a direct conduit to his pants.
Right? and, and it just breaks his brain.
It does break his brain.
Anyway, so they end up in the bathroom stall.
The female bathroom stall, because 'cause they're
Yeah,
gendered at this point, right?
they are.
Yeah.
So Susan goes to the bathroom, and that's when Steve decides to ask out Susan.
So, let's just set this up. So, he has a girl in the stall that he has been
Oh yeah,
messing around with.
he's popped out to get a condom.
Yeah. No, he fell out,
Yeah, he didn't
which is really
walk out.
interesting. And then he stands up. He doesn't recognize Susan, and Susan's like, "Hi, Steve." And Steve's you can
Well, they have a little banter back and forth first, and then she's like, "How's it going, Steve?"
right? I wish they had an anxiety meter, like some sort of
Right, just on
visual
the
on
side.
him. Yeah. If we could just AI an anxiety meter for Steve's character in this show, it'd be awesome because then we could watch it go up and down all the time. Because his anxiety shot through the roof when she said his name. And he's like, I know
Oh,
you. Like,
great. That doesn't make this weirder.
right? And then she starts talking about how she tried to chat him up at a Christmas party.
But then
And
was
which-
yelling at somebody. He was arguing with some woman about Crippen.
Right, exactly.
Full circle moment.
Right, exactly. All the while, Jane's in the stall waiting on him to come back. Oh my god. And he turns on the water like it's gonna do anything.
Right? I was like, that's not
Doesn't
gonna
do
work.
anything.
This is jumping ahead a little bit, but they left the water on when they both left.
They did. Yeah, yeah. And later when Steve is describing the situation to Jeff, Jeff's like, "New king in the zone, but he'll rule alone."
because Jeff was trying to understand, when did he ask out? At what point did he ask out Susan? And he's
said,
like, during.
During.
Which is what Jeff says. The zone has a new king, but you will rule alone.
Right?
Oh.
It gives a little insight to Jeff's thinking about, there's some rigid rules for him to follow about these
Mhm.
social things and how Steve fascinates him because Steve and anybody else, Patrick, breaks
Deviates.
they
Yeah.
deviate from the actual rules, and it just throws Jeff off because Jeff's like, "I can't orient myself."
Mhm.
Oh, man, poor Jeff.
Mhm.
Poor Jeff. Oh my gosh. So, that's the first episode was when they set up all the women to have sort of this social power,
Mhm.
right? And the men are just there as the characters,
They
I
really
guess,
are.
amongst the
They're
social
they're
power.
they're just there, it's just kinda how it is.
I love it. I love
Yeah.
the dynamic change because,
Well,
we don't get it's refreshing, right? We
it
don't get
is.
that, um, in some of these shows, especially the older episodes of, early TV and things like that, where there's these
Mhm.
gender dynamics,
Mhm.
um, and there's um,
Well,
power
so
plays in the drama.
so continuing forward, Steve tries again to break up with Jane because he's supposed to be going out with Susan, right? He's got a date set or something. Um, and he tries to do it over the phone and gets her answering machine,
Oh my god, it's so funny.
which was tapes back then.
It was tapes.
So there's only so much data a tape can hold,
Yep,
and so it fills up when he's in the middle of complimenting her before putting her down.
and he says, "Any man would like to spend his life with you,"
And then click.
and then click, and he's like, "Shit."
Deer in headlights. Deer
Exactly.
in headlights.
Again, anxiety meter, right? If we could just have that anxiety meter. And he's got a date with Susan later that evening. Like
Uh-huh.
he was trying to do the right thing and break up with Jane yet again
Uh-huh.
before embarking on this new endeavor with
Susan.
Susan. Oh my goodness. Well, it didn't
Oh,
work. And
no.
so not Jeff, Steve shows up to the date an
Well, Jeff
hour
is there
early.
too.
And
Jeff
Jeff
is there. Jeff came along.
so again, this is Jeff not understanding the social constructs of,
Well, it's
and
not
also
that.
Jeff thinks that he can help.
Well, he doesn't. That's not it. He's not trying to help.
He's not.
No, what he thinks is that they're going to talk about him because Jeff and Susan went on a date long, long, long time ago. They went on a date first. And what he told Steve was that Susan was too nervous
Yeah, it was all
to
Susan's
go on
deal,
a
right?
yeah.
Couldn't handle it. Couldn't handle
And
all of Jeff.
Steve's like that kind of tracks because Jeff. But
Jeff is a lot.
what we actually come to find out is that Jeff was so nervous to be on a date with Susan that he fainted
Yeah, he had
and had
physical
to be
reactions.
carried home.
Exactly. Mr. Carry Me Home.
I have no feeling in my leg. Carry me home.
Exactly. The acting was so good. My left side, and she's like moving her
Yeah.
arm up and down. Oh my god, so funny. That was great. Yeah.
So Jeff
and
is there trying to not have them not talk about that. He has this line later. He says, "You're both friends of mine. If you get together, it affects me. I'm a legitimate part of this date."
Even though he inserted himself.
Yes. So they show
By
up
proxy, it's a history thing, right? I'm part
Right.
of both of y'all's history, so then I'm affected by y'all
Uh-huh.
getting together. Like, this is Jeff thinking he's part of the social construct there.
Well, because
There's no boundaries,
he's friends with both of them.
right?
So it does affect him. I get it, but at the same time, don't be there.
Right?
Anyway, so they both show up an hour early because he's trying to break up with Jane. Steve is trying to break up with Jane still,
Right?
to make it clear. And he
But
knows Jane is going to find him.
yes, yeah. Yeah. So he wanted to head that off. So Steve's agenda is to head off Jane because he knows Jane will follow him,
Uh-huh.
right? To try to find him. Jeff is there to control the narrative of his story about Susan and him dating.
Uh-huh. Uh-huh.
Then Jane arrives. Wait, yeah. Is it Jane
So-
that comes next?
So Jane comes first. So they both show up. Then Jane. So Jane shows up, and the way that she found him was she called all the taxis to see which picked him up.
Right.
Then found out where he was dropped off by getting the taxi's number, and then she called all the restaurants and figured out which one had his reservation.
Right. And then
she says, "Well, if I didn't do all that, how would we ever see each other?"
Right. This is back to her argument about how the Crippens I put this in quotes, put work into the relationship. So this is Jane's understanding about putting work into the relationship. So she has to, it's like a hunt every time, a scavenger hunt to try to find your boyfriend, apparently.
That's how she does it. So then Susan shows up an hour early because she didn't have her facial.
Right.
So she was just going to show up to the restaurant and just wait around,
hang out, and maybe have a glass of wine or whatever and chill out before the date. Yep. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So that happens, and then Sally and Patrick show up because Sally has asked Patrick out on a date.
Right.
And then what my favorite part is that Sally pushes Patrick out of the way, and then he still comes back into frame. She gave him the option to leave.
Get out while you can. Save
to
yourself.
Not be seen, and he still just saunters back in.
Oh, man. I guess curiosity really did kill the cat.
He just doesn't think things through.
No.
He never does.
No. And that comes up later. We'll talk about that, but yeah.
Anyway, so it all ends up with a new plan.
And this whole time, Susan's the one that's like barking all the orders and she's trying to come up with a decent plan of how to move forward and all these things.
Yeah, she ends up saying, new plan, let's see, your ex, my ex, your best friend, my best friend. Every new relationship has baggage, so why not invite it all out for dinner?
Exactly.
Date 1. Just bring everyone to the table.
Right? All cards are out. Everybody show their hand.
This episode is a great episode as an intro. You get to know all of the characters really well and understand their motivations. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. It's great. It's very well written, and I can see why people got roped in. There's a sense of mystery, about how things might go. There's buy-in to the characters' development, right? And their uniqueness, each of them, but also I'm really attracted to the feminism of it, where the power of the women, they don't take shit from the guys, and the guys have realized that if they want to have relations, as it were, then they better behave themselves, basically. And when they don't behave themselves, boy, does it get
weird.
It gets a little weird, gets wiry in there. Yeah.
Okay, do you have anything about episode 1 that you'd like to talk about?
I had a note about Jane and Jeff because we don't see them in scenes very much in this show.
What you do see is in this first episode, he looks over to her and goes, bleh. And he jumps. He fully jumps.
But right before that, when she saw him, because he's already there, right? And then Jane shows up. She's like, psh, and dismisses him.
He's not there.
No, he's not there.
It doesn't matter.
I'm just gonna. You're 0 right now. I don't see you.
Yep.
So that I had a note about that because it's really funny how they interact with one another. About that.
One thing we didn't talk about was how Susan shows them all her breast.
Oh yeah,
in the restaurant.
Yes, yeah. So it is interesting how socially. So I was trying to figure it out. How does she even get to the point where they're all looking at her and wanting her to do this thing, and then I watch it build. From one person to then they all sort of
Jeff. Because Jeff says, I'll go away if you show me your breasts.
Exactly. It's like a currency thing, right? And, that's like a social currency for Jeff to get out and put a boundary there. And she's like, she started it because she's like, what do you have to do? Show a breast around here? And Jeff's like, yeah, I'll take that.
Right? Sure. I'll
if you do that. Exactly. And then everybody starts jumping on Jeff's boat,
right?
I could do that. I could totally take that.
Right?
Yeah, let's do
Patrick's
that.
like, I'll see an express. That'll be nice.
And then he's the one that picks the
Yeah.
is it the left one? I can't remember.
Yeah, because she's like, I didn't know you'd assess them individually.
He's like, "You were sleeping. I was bored.
Right?
What else am I gonna do while you're sleeping?"
Right? So that was the only thing we didn't talk about.
Woo. Yeah, but then all of them just stand there and go,
Mhm.
and then the waiter comes around, so he's like the
Yep.
the 6th person to come around, and she's still holding her shirt out.
Yep, and that's how they get a table for 6 on short notice.
Exactly. So funny. But that's how it ends.
Yep.
That's great.
Okay, so moving on to episode 2, size matters.
And yes, is exactly what it references.
Well, it references that, but it also references the pause at the very beginning. Because that
Oh
pause
my God,
just
yes.
builds and builds.
Oh, I had a note about how Susan,
She lets it go.
she utilizes silence
Uh-huh.
to build her power, her social power, and then lets it empower her. So she
Mhm.
not only uses the time to build that social power, but then she takes it and converts it into empowerment.
Mhm.
And basically, it's an ensnarement for men,
Uh-huh.
specifically heterosexually, right?
Uh-huh. This whole
And
show is very heterosexual. Let's
very, yeah, in
be
the
clear about
constructs
that.
for sure. But Susan utilizes that space and time, the silence of that,
Mhm.
to ensnare Steve, because Steve makes it more and more and more awkward.
He's just about as awkward as Jeff sometimes.
Oh yeah. I mean, this is what I noted. I was like, Steve called Susan
Yeah, and then said nothing. He said
and then
hi,
said
and that
out,
was it.
yeah, exactly. He said, "Hi. This is Steve."
He didn't even say
I don't
that.
even think, yeah.
It's just no, he said hi, this is Steve. And that's
I think
it.
so, yeah. Yeah, yeah.
And then pause. 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 And it just kept going, and Susan's just sitting there letting
Waiting.
it ride.
And then he tries to play it off like, "Oh, you didn't hear anything about anything I was saying?" And Susan's like, "I could hear you breathing." Like, total caught, man.
Uh-huh.
The net has now been cinched up, right? Like,
Yeah.
you can't lie your way out of this, man. Dude, you just spent 3 minutes just breathing into the phone.
He eventually says something along the lines, I don't have the quote for this, but he eventually says something along the lines of, I'd like to go on a date, or better yet, I'll emigrate.
Right?
I'll just leave. Just leave the country.
Oh,
And she says, I heard New Zealand's nice.
New Zealand, that's one. Yeah. Oh, it would have been funny if they had done Australia. Because
Australia,
later,
yeah.
later in the other episodes,
Yeah,
later
oh,
in
yeah.
other series and things.
Another
Yeah.
season, yeah.
Yeah, that
He
would have been
does-
funny.
Steve has this great line here, though. He says, I've forgotten in one moment of embarrassment the entire English language.
Exactly. It's so funny. So I had written that Steve is narrating the story about this to the guys. This is how we
Yes.
learned about it. It's Steve is telling the story to the guys. So
Mhm.
Jeff and Patrick are getting this story firsthand from Steve's experience.
Yes.
And then
And they're trying to help.
right. And
So-
actually, Patrick is the one that has the most like in-depth thought
Right?
process.
He actually really thinks about it. So Jeff brings up The Blob, which is a movie.
right?
It is an actual movie. I did look it up. So it's from 1958. It's a science fiction horror film. And the film concerns a carnivorous amoebal alien that crashes to Earth from outer space inside a meteorite. It envelops living beings, growing larger, becoming redder in color, and more aggressive, eventually becoming larger than a building.
My
The
goodness.
Blob. And that's what he's equating to this pause. That's just slowly growing.
Funny. I mean, again, that speaks. This is why I like Jeff. Jeff's brain works like my brain. I see things in visuals too, and this
Mhm.
is the exact kind of thing that would happen to me I'd be like, "Oh, it's just like this thing that I saw or
Uh-huh.
this thing I experienced or whatever," and I would explain it in visual terms, and this is exactly how Jeff's brain works too.
Yeah.
And the both of the guys are like, "What are you saying, man?"
Well, eventually Patrick gets it because
Right?
then Jeff starts talking about how there's always a puppy in a car. And they're like, "So what does it represent?" And then Patrick's like, "The puppy is love." So you
There's
have
a
to
little bitty light bulb above Patrick's head when he
right?
says that too. It's like, wow, he can think that far beyond his own pants.
Right? So eventually, Susan and Sally show up to the bar, but Susan has also offered to cook.
Right? Oh my gosh. It's like second date, I think, or third
Uh-huh.
date, something like that.
Well, it's
Yeah.
really the first real date. That's what they
First real
mentioned.
date. Oh my gosh, so funny.
And so
Because
Sally says something about, "Come and spend the night with me," says, "Let's have sex. I'll cook," says, "Let's have sex, and I'll cater."
it's this is an examination, right, of how people interpret language, how people interpret body language,
Mhm.
how communication can break down and be misunderstood, right? And instead of making very clear things, which is what Susan tries to do
Mhm.
about, you're only coming over because I'm making you food. I'm actually cooking,
Right.
which means nothing else other
Do
than
not plan to have
right,
sex.
cooking food,
Right.
actual food, right? Don't misinterpret the cooking for something
Right.
else. Yeah.
Well, this is also where we get Jeff's other words for things, the sock gap.
Because Jeff has to do things in systems and
Uh-huh.
processes,
Uh-huh.
and this is how he's trying to break it down.
Uh-huh.
And I love how Jeff gets so animated about if you miss the sock gap.
Right? You'll be a naked man in socks. That's not
Exactly.
attractive.
Like,
Ugh.
it's just so anti-sex to wear socks while you're trying to engage in physical
Ah.
physical relations there. So
I think
funny.
part of the reason why both you and I love this show is that there's just so much going on all the time.
Oh, yeah. It was really hard to take notes because I was too busy laughing, or I had to
Right.
go back because the quote was so good, and I was like, "Oh,
Uh-huh.
shit, I gotta catch that." Yeah. Yeah, there's a lot going on as far as this, and it's really whippy is where it
Oh,
goes
it's
from one scene
quippy.
to the next, and quippy and
Yeah.
whippy. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, because you have
Because
there's just so much that's happening in this whole show
right?
because you have the Jeff talking about the energies of when two people meet and two other people are thinking about those two people while having sex. So there's an energy that they
Oh, that's
feel.
right. Yes, yeah, yeah, yeah. Oh, and Jeff's so awkward. He talks about how, this is when we get the first name of, Mariella,
Foster.
Frostrop, and Susan happened to be right there where Jeff's trying to describe this,
Or
right?
you could call her God.
Exactly, and Jeff's like, "Sure." Oh, fuck.
Because he responds as if Steve said it.
Exactly. And this is, again, another example of Susan taking her power, right? And
Uh-huh.
really making sure that it doesn't get taken from her. She's claiming her agency in this situation, even only
Mhm.
knowing just a few details. She already knows in a social construct that these men have been talking about women in a
Mhm.
way that's probably not, that how they would talk about them in the company of women.
Right.
Although I don't see much difference when they're hanging out
Not
with
real
each
there
other.
is not a lot.
Yeah.
Mostly because Susan and Sally well, all 3 of them, Susan, Sally, and Jane, they all will bring up topics just to see how they'll react.
Is that why you like the show? Because you like to instigate little conversations like that to
Jane is a
just
big instigator.
yes, she is.
I love Jane. So before we get too far, let's talk about Mariella Frostrup because so she is an actual person, not somebody that was
She is an
created.
actual person. Yeah.
Not created for the show or anything. She's a Irish Norwegian journalist and presenter and known for a bunch of different stuff in the British television and radio scene. Um my most fascinating fact I found out about her is that in October of 2024, she was announced as the UK's government's menopause employment ambassador.
Wow.
Right? I don't know what that means. I didn't get a chance to look that up, but
Do we need one
menopause
of those?
employment ambassador. I don't know, maybe. So, anyway,
Okay, something to look up later because that sounds really interesting.
right?
It's in keeping with the theme though that women have power despite
Mhm.
what the patriarchal social constructs teach us, right? That women actually do have power. It's
Mhm.
the realization of that power and then the acknowledgement of that power, and awareness of that power, and then doing something and having action with that power, right?
Mhm.
So, and this show holds really hard on, really squeezes and just grips that power,
Mhm.
as far as feminist power, and doesn't allow the men to overtake that, right?
Mhm.
They refuse. It's much in keeping with Jane not wanting to accept the
Right.
breakup, in that the women characters in this show are like, "Pff, I don't accept that."
Right.
And then they have these quips that come back and they punch at holes in the
Uh-huh.
arguments, right? Yeah. So they punch back. And episode 2 is pretty good about that because Sally learns about Patrick
Oh,
in this
yes.
one.
Well, so first Sally breaks up with him, basically. She makes it very clear that they're not gonna sleep together. She says, "What do you call people you go out with, but don't try to sleep with?" And Patrick says, "Men." She's like, "That's who I'm gonna be now."
Right? Yeah, she basically told him what she expected out of their relationship, right?
Right. Which was complete
Before
friendship.
right.
Before knowing that Patrick is huge in the package department.
Right?
My favorite quote, and this is not in this episode, it's in the last episode, but Sally goes, "There's really not enough blood for both your brains in your body." And he says, "That's a guarantee."
And then he does a click sound and then
Yeah.
he points at her. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
So he's proud of it.
Well, what's really
Yes.
funny is she smiles at that like she's
Yeah.
attracted to him.
Exactly. Oh, we could totally
Well,
do a
we
whole
could
episode on Sally and Patrick.
oh, yeah, we
Um,
could focus totally on them, but we're not going to.
no,
Um,
gosh.
there's so
But
much to this show. There's so much to this episode specifically. So there's that. So Sally's trying to get back with Patrick to
yeah, because
make
Susan
nice.
was talking about him being a donkey, and
Uh-huh.
Sally mistook that as donkey brain, right? Had
Uh-huh.
just added the word brain to it, and she's like, "Now I understand why it didn't work out with you guys because he's a donkey brain." And Susan's like, "I said donkey."
Right.
And she goes, "Ah, it's okay. I got it either
I
way."
got what
And
you meant.
Susan's like, "No, you didn't."
No.
And Sally's face was like, "Wait, what?"
Yeah. She says, "You let me dump a tripod."
Right?
Yeah.
And then Sally gets mad at Susan, like, "How dare you
Right? How dare you let me dump him?
let me dump him?" Yeah. And then later on, Sally comes around and she gets animated, right, about
Mhm.
the loss of being able to date Patrick or even engage in, sexual relationship with him. And then she's like, "I deserve a full-sized one."
Yep, yep, yep,
She's so tired of the dating scene,
yep. And
giving her
then
duds.
Susan throws a wrench in that, right? Once she realizes that Sally's going after Patrick again, Susan throws a wrench in it and is like, "Oh, by the way, Patrick's a Tory,"
Right?
which is the conservative part, UK's conservative party.
It is. Yep. It's the
So,
right-leaning party.
by the way, he's a Tory, and then she walks away.
Right? And then Sally, like, actually weighs the value of
She
being a
does.
Tory versus being a tripod. Like, which one's more important right now?
So we haven't talked about Jane yet because Jane hasn't really appeared yet. But Jane brings her
brings
quote
her date.
unquote date to the bar.
She thinks it's a date.
Howard, yes.
Right?
She thinks it's a date, but it's not a date because Howard is very definitely gay. He mentions it when he first meets everybody by
Right?
mentioning about, "I used to date the bloke behind the bar. Does he still
Right?
work here? I owe him a slap." Something about that
Right,
like
right, right, right. Yeah, yep, yep. I mean, it comes up several times in the conversation. Jane's just like over her head.
Oblivious.
But then she has this great like answer to it when people are like, "Yo, he's gay, right?" And she goes, "Well, duh, I'm bisexual." Like,
My favorite part is when she says that to Howard. He's like, "Well, then there's two problems."
exactly.
Not
Her
just
argument
one.
doesn't land like she thinks it's going to. It's so funny because she's like, "Well, we're 2 peas in a pod, it should match up just fine," and he's like, "That's not how it works."
Right? So this is also the episode where there's a lot of political talk. This is the
Mhm.
big political discussion because
Sally
Howard is
gets
also Tory leaning, at least.
right, 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 and she's like but Sally's like, "You're supposed to be on our side," and of course, at this point, she's drunk, right?
Oh, they
She's
get trashed. They
they
all
yeah, they're
get
tra yeah, they all
trashed.
get trashed. It's really funny to watch them and, um
The only people who don't get trashed are Steve and Susan because they left to go for their date.
right, exactly, but, Patrick's like, "We should bring Maggie back. Maggie was the best prime minister," and
Maggie
then
Thatcher.
Howard's like, "Yes, we should totally do that," and Sally's like, "You're not supposed to be on that side. You're with us."
Yeah, so they talk about Maggie Thatcher, who was the longest serving British prime minister and the first woman to hold that position. They talk about Tony Blair, who
Yep,
was the prime minister of the UK
and
from
he was part of the
97
Labor
to
Party, which is the
2007 and
opposite
the
side.
leader of the Labour Party.
Yeah, exactly.
They also mentioned Portillo, who was also a part of the Conservative Party as well.
It's so funny because Sally in her drunkenness, she's like, "Long live the revolution," or whatever about the
Yeah,
revolution, and Patrick's like, "But it's our turn to have the revolution.
right?
You're the majority party right now."
Yeah. Then she's like, "No, no."
Exactly.
Uh,
So Sally loses her ability to hold that power while she's drunk,
uh-huh.
right? You can see the inability to just
Oh, yeah.
creep down. She loses her ability to hold on to all that. So then it cuts to
The date, which is
the
actually very
date.
cute. The date itself is very cute. When they're actually doing the date. She got Steve there way too early.
Oh
Let's
yeah.
start there. And she obviously had something already cooking, like a long time.
Or ready to yeah, it
It
was
was
either
something
really
long
ready,
term,
yeah, or
like
something, yeah.
something in a slow cooker or something
Something like that, yeah.
that she had started before she left for work or whatever. And then she got Steve there, tests that, does a little bit of cooking, but then also goes to take a shower. And I was like, you got Steve there way too early.
I mean, I don't understand why you're yeah, what's the hell, man? And I
Well,
guess you just
she does say, if Sally's going to embarrass herself, I'd rather there be less of an audience.
oh, yeah, 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 so that's why she wanted to pull him out, right?
Yeah.
And yeah, yeah. But okay, so I have a question about this scene and the whole
Okay.
issue around the remotes. I cannot connect the dots. I don't know if it's a social situation with
Oh,
autism or what
it's
the
because
hell is going on.
they can't be explicit about it because they're talking about vibrators.
Okay, I thought that was the reference, but I was like,
They're talking about dildos and vibrators. That's really what they're talking about. And back
okay,
then,
so
they
the
were using actual batteries. Nowadays, vibrators and stuff are rechargeable with lithium batteries
gotcha,
because they're smaller and they are waterproof or water resistant. You can
gotcha.
make them with other
So when the
batteries that
guys are talking about quote unquote remotes, they're not talking about actual remotes. They're talking
No,
about
they
that's the
are.
innuendo.
They're talking about remotes and how she continually goes through batteries.
Gotcha. There's the joke. Okay.
That's the
I
joke,
missed that
which is
all the
why
way
she
around.
has all that huge thing of batteries, and she's like,
Yeah.
"I'm constantly going through batteries."
Yeah, I did get that part. Yeah, for sure.
That's why.
And then she hands him a like huge, like Costco level bulk item of batteries
Which is why she said, "Oh, I think I put them in something," and then she goes into the bedroom, and then you hear vibration
vibrating.
to see
Yeah.
if they're in there, and then she opens it up, takes the batteries out, and takes
Right,
them to
right, right.
Steve.
Yeah, because
Yeah,
she was double checking to make sure they worked.
well, they
The
worked and that
batteries.
they were in there. That's she
Right,
was right.
exactly. So funny. I
So
did
yeah.
wanna make a note here that there was a slight tropey kind of thing with the heterosexual troping and that, Susan's in the kitchen cooking, and then she comes out, and he's trying to turn the TV on, and she's like, "Oh, right, man and his TV," right? So there's this little dynamic here,
Well, she says
and
it
it's just a
as a
small picture.
joke.
She does say it as a joke, but it's
She
just a
says, "Of
small
course, a
moment.
man, a TV, better leave you two alone."
Exactly.
And then she walks away.
Yeah. So in that way, the heterosexual social construct was a joke, right?
Right.
So that was a swing back the other way, where
Yes.
that was a trope that was used as a joke. So I just wanted to notate that because it wasn't lost on me that that was part of that.
So the one
Oh
thing we
yeah,
haven't talked about in this whole episode before we get to the end is everybody's wanting Jeff to go to the bathroom with Patrick.
Yes, they all try to
So
set him up. Well,
Sally,
Sally does it because she wants to know if it's
Sally,
enormous.
yeah, Steve does for the same thing, and then Jane
Right.
does because she's trying to prove the point that Jeff and Patrick go for cuddles, quote
That straight
unquote.
men that straight men look for the company of men.
Connection,
Yeah,
yeah.
connection and stuff like that, despite their heterosexuality.
Yeah.
Yeah, so she's making Jeff or
Wanting
suggesting to
Jeff.
Jeff, yeah,
Yeah.
to go, "Why don't you go in there and have a cuddle," right?
Yeah.
Oh my god, so funny.
So everybody's wanting Jeff, and he eventually does it, and then Patrick catches him,
Right?
which is very funny because Patrick's like, "What are you doing?"
Right? Gosh, so funny. I was looking to see if there was anything else on that. Have 2 notes on one on Jane and one on Jeff. Jeff explains that being gay must take the pressure off of
Yes.
dating because masturbating is practice for him.
Yes.
Howard's like, "Well, that's an interesting perspective, and you're not wrong."
Right? He's like, "You're not fully wrong. You know all the parts.
Right? Exactly.
There's not a surprise when you get in there."
Right? You actually know how to handle the equipment
Right?
because you practice on yourself. And then Jane tries to make the argument that there are no homosexuals, that there's
Just people sexuals?
there's just people sexuals. And I'm like, "What?"
I think what she's trying to say is pansexual, but that's not
Maybe.
everybody.
Not everybody, yeah. She tries to lump everybody together. Oh my gosh.
She
Anyway, those
thinks
are the other 2
she's
notes I had.
normal, like, she thinks she's completely normal, and that everybody is exactly like her. That's the thing.
Ah, that makes sense.
Yeah.
Yeah, that makes sense.
So one person we haven't talked about is Angus Deaton.
Oh, yeah, he was brought up too
He was brought up because that's who Susan thinks about
when she's
when
having
she
sex.
yeah.
And
And
then
there's
his
2
picture
photos
yeah,
in
his
her
picture.
drawer. But so he's an English broadcaster, comedian, musician, and writer. He's been a
You know,
presenter, a
he
bunch of
knew
different
Stephen
things.
Moffat before he was referenced in this show.
That makes sense. So both
Yeah,
Angus and Mariella both show up in this show at the very end of this episode.
they do.
And Mariella shows up again in another season,
She does.
series.
Yeah. So, that's
So
good.
I
Good
think,
stuff.
is there anything else you want to talk about with this episode?
Oh, yeah, I had to mention that the women objectify the men, specifically Patrick, which is an
Mhm.
interesting turn because usually that doesn't happen. And then I wrote, Susan is unapologetically honest and true to herself when she's like bopping around her apartment and stuff
Mhm.
and just trying to be very
She's very
authentic.
honest. That's the thing about
Yeah.
her. She's very honest. She's very blunt.
When she creates a space for it, when you watch the 2 of them have their date,
Mhm.
you can tell that Steve is really, really nervous, but he has this general nervousness to him.
Mhm.
Because he's trying to navigate the social world too, and Susan keeps him on his toes a bit with that.
Yes.
But in this particular moment, right, she relieves him of that.
Right.
Well, she thinks she does.
She takes because he says that's the pressure. That's what's
Right.
he says is the problem, and then she
Right.
fixes the problem, and then there's more pressure.
Exactly. And that's when he calls and goes, Jeff, I need you to do me a favor.
Mhm. Mhm.
So those are the 2 notes I had about that particular episode.
Okay. So episode 3, sex, death, and nudity.
This is my favorite episode.
The giggle loop, which
The
is really
giggle
a
loop.
sack, but giggle loop.
Right? It is my very favorite episode.
Starts off with Jeff being paranoid about his interview.
Yeah, he is way overthinking it.
Uh-huh.
And I can't. Is it? Yeah, it's Patrick that offers the advice about seeing
Seeing
the interview panel naked, right?
Uh-huh.
Just to envision them naked. And so Jeff, in true autistic form, is like, "Well, I'll just practice that." And so he gets really comfortable in seeing everyone naked
Uh-huh.
and tries to practice that. And he's like, oh, "Okay, I can get behind this, right?"
I
You
actually
got-
like how that little B story ends too, or goes through, because Patrick eventually, because Jeff starts getting really disgusted because he starts
Yes.
imagining everybody, and that
even older
old
people. Yeah.
people, because they go to the funeral.
Right.
And Patrick says, exactly. If everyone is disgusting, that must mean you are the best.
It makes him feel better, right?
Right. Is one of the few times that Patrick actually helps,
Right?
especially
There
Jeff.
there there are moments, yeah.
Uh-huh.
So, Jeff explains the giggle loop and how he sees these social breaks, right?
Right.
When you're breaking a social norm or something like that.
It's
And
when you're not supposed to laugh and you slightly laugh.
yeah,
And
it's
those
during a somber
build
moment or a quiet moment or
a question. So it happens with Steve when something about
right,
do you think it's funny that my aunt
right, yeah,
died or
yeah, yeah.
something like that?
Yeah, yeah,
And then he tries not to laugh but nearly does.
yeah. Right, yeah, yeah. And then, of course, you get the visuals of the glasses stacking on top
Uh-huh.
of themselves. Oh, it's so great. Oh, I just love this episode.
Mhm.
But yeah,
Well,
Jane shows up to Steve's place and says, "My Aunt Margaret died."
mhm.
Actually, she says, "My Auntie Margaret." Um, the woman who raised her, that kind of
Right.
thing. And she's upset, and she's upset that Steve's not upset.
Right, and she's upset that Steve also won't go with her to the
Right,
thing.
he's not he's logicking himself out of going with
Right,
her.
he's doing his best to be faithful completely to Susan,
Right,
and he knows Jane is a problem because Jane will entrap him
right.
in different ways.
And then Jane's like, "I'm not using my dead aunt to get back with you."
My favorite is the neighbor.
Right.
Eventually, the neighbor's like, "A dead aunt," because he's going to the funeral because he's outside smoking.
Yeah.
It's great.
God, so funny. So, of course, through the group, right,
Mm.
Steve gets ensnared to go with Jane because Jane
So,
also has not.
so Steve says it perfectly. Steve says it perfectly. Susan won't let me go unless she brings Patrick. Patrick won't come unless Sally comes. Jeff won't back out because he's the only one who actually knew your aunt and thinks it's unfair if he gets left behind.
See, there you go. The whole group has to go now.
Steve says it perfectly. It's because Susan asked Patrick to be his date because Susan wanted her ex to be there, just
Mhm.
like Steve was going
To
with
make him
his
feel what it
ex,
feels like.
right? But Patrick doesn't want to be on Steve's bad side, so he asked Sally to go with him.
Right.
Steve, on the other hand, asked Jeff to go to be Susan's date so that there's no awkward conversation about why Susan is there.
Right.
But Susan and Steve didn't talk to each other, so now that Susan has 2 dates.
Right. What a mess.
Right? It's complicated, but everybody's going.
Right. They all get roped in. It's great.
My other favorite part is when the vicar comes up to Jane. He says, "Now, I can never remember which of these lads is your young man." And Steve goes, hang on. Patrick goes, "Well, I'm with Sally." Steve says, "I thought you were with Susan." Jeff goes, "No, I'm with Susan." Patrick goes, "Well, I must be with Jane then. Vicar, hello, nice to see you again."
Right. He just steps up. And Steve's like, "I'll let that go."
What? Okay. It's a great scene.
So I had a note on this one, just this one note on this episode and how the social norms get bent, right? And you can see
Yeah.
how they're going in and out of the social, what would be socially normal or
Mhm.
what would be construed as a social norm. And so they all are very flexible about walking in and out of it,
Mhm.
whenever needed, which creates more drama and more mess.
I will say this episode is where Jane specifically, but Susan and Jane really bury the hatchet on the whole Steve leaving Jane
Comparison, yeah,
for Susan situation.
competition situation.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This is
Mhm.
the episode where that mostly stops.
Yeah.
It comes up a few more times, but it's not as competitive and more of Jane
Right, there
still
is a
loving Steve.
small usually when we have, women characters like this, I say usually, there are moments in some sitcoms or other shows, right, where there's women against other women. We've talked about this before with the
Mhm.
comparison and how there's a social construct for us that is unspoken, that we have to somehow adhere to this competition with each other,
Mhm.
and that's what's gonna get us ahead, right? Um and it's a one-upping, and
Mhm.
there's a little bit of that here, but like you said, they bury the
This
hatchet
is where
and
they bury the hatchet, and that
yeah.
really stops or at least slows down,
Yeah, yeah.
especially because of Jane.
Yeah, yeah,
Jane
Jane
and
just
Susan get into a rhythm of
right,
acceptance.
right, and then they start talking about Steve behind his back,
Yeah, because they're
comparing
the
notes,
ear clicking thing.
right? Which I have no idea.
I have no idea what they're mentioning there
I
either.
wonder if that's a personal,
It may be an inside
reference?
joke,
Yeah, an
who
inside
knows?
joke to,
And it may be that something
Steven and Sue.
the actors created, who
Oh, it could
knows?
be, it could be. I don't
Who
know.
knows?
That's funny.
So the other part of the story is Sally not wanting to go to the funeral because she doesn't she doesn't
I
wanna
love
die.
this storyline. Sh and yeah, she didn't wanna go 'cause it'd be a bunch of old people there, and
She's worried they're gonna take her moisture,
right? She doesn't wanna be in proximity to them, she doesn't wanna be reminded that she's aging, she doesn't want anything to
right?
do with it at all, and so, even during the funeral, you can see her putting moisturizer on
Uh-huh.
to sort of bring her anxiety down about that because there's just old people walking all over the place, and so, there was this, quote she said, "Death is the best argument for moisturizer."
Mhm.
Okay, that's a weird way of
Yeah.
putting that, but alright.
If that's what you mean.
Sure.
Oh, there's a line in here when I this is going back in the episode a little bit, but there's a line in here that is one of my favorites. Susan is asking Patrick to be her date to
Oh, yeah,
this
I have
thing,
that. Yeah, yeah,
and
yeah.
she says, "Does your dick do all of the thinking, Patrick?" And Patrick says, "I don't know, I'll ask it."
Exactly.
That's his response.
I mean, that is quintessential Patrick, though.
It is.
He basically leads with his pants until he does need his brain, and then when his brain is used, his dick's not being used,
Right.
it's just, like, switching out. I mean, that's the way he compartmentalizes, actually,
Mhm.
and it does the character does grow, so if
All
you
of the
get to where
characters grow. I will
yeah,
say
if you
that.
get to where you are interested in this show, please watch the rest of the seasons and the
Oh,
rest of the
yeah.
series because you get to watch them move on or move and grow in these areas in which they
Mhm.
have these fears or these apprehensions, right?
And personally for me, I think season 2 is the best. Not saying
I don't,
any of the other seasons are bad, but season
right?
2 is the best. It
Yeah,
is
I would
very
agree with you.
funny.
Yeah, I would agree
But
with you.
so is there anything else you wanna bring up for episode
No, but Jane
3?
does use her manipulation again to
Oh, oh, yeah.
talk to Steve, and Steve
She's
reacts, of
very
course.
manipulative and slightly vindictive
Yeah.
because she says it's a threesome and gets him all hot and bothered at the funeral.
Exactly. Oh, I have 2 other things. The only other things I have is Sally is talking to an older woman who happens to be 92, and
Mhm.
they actually do favor each other. They
Mhm.
could be family members actually genetically, but, I don't know. I didn't look up the actress,
I didn't either.
but they go in for a tit for tat
Mhm.
on the aging thing, and what's funny is, again, this is that power thing where the older woman has more power because she's lived longer, and
Mhm.
Sally's not wanting to listen to that.
Right.
And so, the older woman tries to touch Sally to show her where her what'd she say? It's segmented
Segmented, yeah.
in her neck, and she's like, "What do you mean?" Like, out of fear, right?
Uh-huh.
And so the woman leans towards her to try to touch her, and Sally responds, "Don't touch me! I'm full of moisturizer, you might drain it all off."
Oh, Sally.
Like it could be siphoned from her.
Right.
So funny. The only other thing I have is, Jeff goes to his interview
Oh,
with
yes.
this whole I can see, everyone naked situation, which
Uh-huh.
sorta worked at the funeral. It didn't work at the funeral because he was seeing old people. But then he goes to the interview and he's all ready to go. He's like fired up.
He's
He's
confident.
yeah,
He's
and he sees this young redheaded woman that's about his age or whatever, and he's
Uh-huh.
like, "Okay, I got this, right?
Right.
This will be fine. I can totally concentrate on this." And then turns out, I don't know why this is, but
There's a
when he
huge mirror behind
mirror, yeah, yeah, yeah.
the interview
And so when he
panel,
goes in, he actually sees himself naked,
which
not the panel,
which
and he just freezes right there.
terrifies him.
Yes. So funny. So funny.
Uh,
But those are the only other things I have other than Jane broke the giggle loop at the funeral.
she did, but that's very funny.
Yeah.
Okay. Moving on to episode 4, Inferno.
So
So
this one may scratch against some sensibilities, especially social sensibilities with LGBT,
right.
with sexual, relations and those kinds of things.
I
Um,
don't think any of this is malicious. I will say
no, I
that.
don't. Yeah,
It's
I don't
not
think so
written
either.
in a malicious way. They're not trying to put down people in
No,
any way. It is written solely for comedy.
right,
Um,
but not comedy at the expense of somebody.
no,
Yeah.
no,
So there is one scene that was, I found myself going, I should not laugh at that.
right? It's one of those episodes where you
It
should not be
is.
laughing, but you are because
Yeah.
it's funny.
It is funny. Yeah, yeah. So your sensibilities might feel a little bit touched. There might be a little bit of a nerve.
Mhm.
So just be prepared for that. But it is a good episode and it is well written. Um,
Yeah. So this whole episode is based off an actual thing that happened to Stephen and Sue, Stephen Moffat and his now wife. So
mhm.
she found one of those videos in his VCR and that's where this came to be. He did change the title and to make it more he says the real title wasn't quite pervy enough for what I was
Right? I
going
did read
for.
that quote. Yeah. I'm like, oh, okay. So they had to really step up the notch, right? To make
Right.
it more sexually questionable. And just
Right. Just more
yeah,
more sexually there. I will say
explicit might
yeah,
be the better word
explicit
there.
is the right
Yeah.
word. So I will say when they created this, it was entirely made up. It was a
Oh,
completely fake porn that they created.
wow. Okay.
However, in 2017, Hustler produced and released a porn film following with the exact title following the plot that is described in this episode.
Oh my gosh, that's
So they've
hilarious.
actually created it based off of this show.
That's great.
So if
I
you were
love that.
wanting to watch Lesbians Bank Inferno, you can.
It's available for
It's
people who are
available.
18 and above, probably.
Um,
Check your
check
state
your
laws,
local
please.
laws.
Yeah. There might even be a statute in your local city statutes. I don't know.
I have no idea. Every
Who knows
place is
anymore,
different.
right?
Every place is different. Speaking of, I was gonna mention this. So there's ashtrays in the bar. I don't know if you
Yes,
caught that.
I did.
That's because smoking wasn't banned until 2007 in
Oh,
enclosed
wow.
spaces.
Okay.
And I tried and that's in the UK. I looked up smoking in the US and that's all it's all
That
state-based.
reminds me, I forgot about the reference. We didn't go over there was a reference to Reservoir Dogs in the funeral
Yes.
scene.
Yes.
And, Steve is actually smoking a cigarette, and you don't
Yes.
see him smoke the whole time. That is the only scene that he smokes in.
Yeah. I don't know if he smokes at any other point in the rest of the series. I'll have to keep an
I
eye out.
don't think so.
But anyway, he smoked purely for that moment, the slow-mo walk.
Yeah, exactly. With the song behind it and everything. Yeah, yeah,
Of
yeah.
course, yeah. Did it on purpose.
So Susan, how this comes up, Susan is cleaning his place.
Yeah, and she's like, "I don't even know why I did it."
Right,
I just
it was
felt
unconsented.
the
She just
need
felt like
to
she need
clean.
yeah, go over there and clean. It's like she got a hit of just domesticity or
Well,
something.
and we don't know how long they've been going out by this month. Oh, no, we do. It's 2 months. They've been going out
Oh,
by 2
wow.
months now. We know this because she eventually lets the pause sit, and he says,
Mhm.
"I love you."
Yeah, 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 yeah.
And Jane is complaining that they went out for 5 years, and he never said it, but she's been
Never said
going
it
out
to
for 2
her.
months,
Yeah,
and he said it to her.
yeah. Several times in this episode too.
Yes.
Yeah. Oh, and I love how James is like, "Maybe tidying means true love." And then Sally goes, "No, oral sex, that means true love."
Alright.
I'm like, "Oh, okay, that's a conversation."
Uh-huh.
Oh, man, that's so funny. So that's how Susan finds the tape, but we don't know that at the beginning. We don't know
Mhm.
that until the dinner party,
Right.
and it actually
Well,
all starts coming out, right?
so she doesn't make it obvious that she knows about the tape. She just lets it go, but
Yep. Again, having that space, right?
Uh-huh.
Creating that letting the silence sit,
Right.
as it
Just
were.
let's see how things are gonna play out. And then Steve is talking to the guys about it. She's talking to the girls about it.
Yes. And of course, we're flipping back and forth, right?
Uh-huh.
And what I find really funny is Steve was talking about, I don't keep a self-abuse log, like as if, and then I wrote the words porn mismanagement question mark. Like, why
Right?
would you keep up with your own porn, man?
Right? Why wouldn't you know?
The thing is we learn later about, Patrick, and
Right.
Patrick has a really,
We'll
like,
we'll get to
yeah,
Patrick's
he has a very rigid,
extensive
mm,
catalog.
right, and he manages it basically,
Yeah, he does.
as it were. Yeah, so I guess there is a porn management
He
style or
has one,
system.
but
Yeah.
Steve does not.
No, Steve
Jeff
apparently
has
just
an abuse log, though. We do keep that. We do know that because
that's so funny.
because of how he says no one keeps a log.
And as the series goes on, you'll learn more about Jeff and why that is.
Right.
So, yeah. Okay.
This is also where we get the therapist. Jane's
Yes, but I wanted to,
therapist.
before we go there, I wanted to
Okay.
talk about how the guys talk about converting lesbians. So they take
Okay.
a very heterosexual stance on
Yes.
this, right? Very, very heterosexual. They just don't have the
Well,
knowledge or even know anyone that's in the in a
right.
lesbian
So
relationship like
they
this.
say
So
the thing about it is they say Patrick, the womanizer, the one who sleeps with just about everyone.
mm, every woman,
Every
because
woman.
he's very straight.
He's
Very,
very
very
straight.
straight.
Could convert a lesbian. They're not saying they could.
Right.
They're saying Patrick could.
Right. Well, it's just the idea that men particularly have the power to convert lesbians is an
Well,
interesting
so
topic to even broach on,
it does come up
especially during this time.
in the
Right?
dinner party as well
It
about
does.
converting gay men
It does.
as
Yeah.
well because of the therapist
Right?
thinking Patrick's gay.
Yeah. Mhm.
And so they both think they're converting each other. We'll get
They
there.
do. Yeah. So funny.
So
But I just wanted
let's
to. That's a little. It's a kind of a hard conversation to listen to if you're
yeah.
not really taking the context in which it's coming from, and that is that they are very heterosexually
They
represented.
really are.
And their ignorance is shown there because of that, right? They're not a part of the LGBT community, so they wouldn't know the details of ins and outs of a relationship like that.
Right.
So it's not a joke on their against LGBT. It's just
And it's
they're
not
ignorant.
also them thinking they can conquer women, if that makes any sense.
Right.
It's
I
not
didn't catch it as that either.
It's
Yeah.
not about that. It is more of, is it even do you think Patrick has the possibility?
Right. Exactly.
Is it in his repertoire of tools?
But it does make a comment, though, right? That men could possibly think this way, that they
Mhm.
have this level of social power that they can convert someone's sexuality this way. So it is a comment. So
It is.
I do appreciate that the comment was even made.
It is.
Yeah.
Something else we haven't talked about before we get, I guess, to the therapist is Patrick's haircut. So Patrick got a haircut because he has a bunch of meetings where he needs to look powerful, and so he wanted to get a hard man.
I don't even know what that means.
That was his phrasing to the barber. And so his barber gave him a more queer look.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know.
There's this swoop in the front that's like a erected dick, basically. It's just this. So maybe that's what
It's
it's sort of a
It's very
physical representation of a hard dick on his head.
I guess. It's very much not Patrick.
It's not Patrick, no.
It's very much just not Patrick.
It is
doesn't
quite
fit him
clear.
at all. It's very
Yeah,
queer.
Yeah.
So, yeah, okay.
And of course the guys call it
And
gay.
yeah, and Patrick's not understanding how it doesn't make him look cooler, more confident, those kind of things. He's
Right,
not
right.
understanding that.
He doesn't
He's
understand how it
he
doesn't
is
lean into his masculinity in that way.
very straight.
He is very straight, yes.
He is
Yeah.
as far straight as you can get.
Yeah.
So going to the therapist now. Finally, let's talk about Jill.
Oh my gosh. I forgot all about this scene, and being a therapist, I just laughed my ass off. But Yeah, we see just Jane in the camera shot,
Right.
right? And she's blah, 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 blah. It's talking about,
The dinner,
um,
the I love you, and
the I love
now
you,
they're gonna have
the
to go to a
problems.
dinner party and all this
Right.
kind
And
of
she's
thing.
wanting to work through this dinner party situation and go through what might be expected from her and all these things, right? And the therapist is like, Jane, we've been over this.
Two things. Two things. I'm not your therapist anymore.
Right? Exactly. We broke up. I fired you as a
Also,
client.
I'm supposed to be working with this couple.
Right? And then the camera pans. And there's somebody on her there's two people on her couch that she was in a session. She was literally in a session when Jane just barged in
Yep. Yep.
and took over. Oh my gosh.
So this is where you start to see Jill does not have great boundaries, especially when it comes to Jane. And I think part of it is Jane broke the therapist.
Yes.
Jane completely broke her.
Yeah,
I bet
because
she was probably a really good therapist until she was working with Jane.
yes.
But she has
Yeah.
terrible boundaries.
Well, the therapist actually tried to enact the boundaries. There's several statements of, we've worked on this. This is your rejection.
Right.
This is the end of it. I'm not going to see you anymore.
Now you're just
all
trying
these
to
things.
manipulate me. Those kind
Yeah,
of things.
she knows all the things, right?
Yet
she's
she
saying
still
all
goes to the dinner party.
shows up at the dinner party.
Upset that she's at the dinner party.
Yeah, because she let her power be manipulated,
She
right?
did.
She let her own agency be manipulated. And I'm sitting here thinking, as a therapist, I can only imagine the curiosity of
Right.
going outside the therapy room to
To
gain more
meet
information.
all of these people, especially meeting
Yes.
Steve.
And you're basically on a fact-finding mission to find out who are these characters in this person's life
Mm-hmm.
and all these things. However, there are ethics that keep
Right.
you from doing these
There's
things. And I
so
will
many
put the caveat in here that
ethics
the United
bargains.
States has different ethics than the European countries do. And there's different ways about conducting therapy. And it is very possible that this could potentially happen in different settings, let's
Right.
just say. So I'm not going to be too harshly judging the therapist because I think
I'm
you're
judging
right.
her because of her lack of boundaries,
Well,
not because of her ethics, not because of
she-
any of that. Her
she-
lack of boundaries for herself.
She broke down her own boundaries. She took down all the walls, right? She's like, let Jane in, just because she's pounding on the door. Let her in, let her in, let her in.
Yep.
Because she couldn't handle the pounding on the door anymore, right? So the therapist, and you can tell the therapist is just done because she starts drinking and she's just trying to be herself.
What also happens in this thing is that Jane mentions that they're both vegetarian. So Jill is vegetarian.
Right.
Jane eats meat all the time. And so Jill tries to point that out. And Jane goes, well, I'm a bi-vegetarian.
It's not a thing.
It's not a thing. I'm an emotional vegetarian. Not a thing either. And so eventually it gets to the point of Jill saying something about how she's an insane bitch.
Right?
You insane bitch.
I've laughed at that so hard because, as a therapist, again, there's ethics, right?
Right.
That keep you from saying certain things
There's
to
lines.
harm people. Yeah, there's lines, there's boundaries to keep from harming people. And Jill was done. She was absolutely, she wasn't in a session. She wasn't inside her own office. She wasn't taking notes. She wasn't being paid for this time.
Right.
None of it fit with, so she was just being Jill.
Yeah.
And when she's just Jill, she's like, you fucking insane bitch.
Well,
what
the
are
thing
you
about
talking
it
about?
is Jane says, I get enough of that language from our sessions.
I know, right? I was like, ooh.
Oh, God.
So funny. So that means that Jane has broken Jill before.
Right.
And then this teaches Jane that that's possible, which is why she keeps coming back to her.
Right.
So funny.
Yeah. So,
God.
There's a lot to this episode, but the other part of this episode is that going back to the lesbian spank inferno, now everybody knows and everybody else knows that the other people know.
Right.
It has slowly come out. Sally's mentioned it. Patrick's mentioned it.
At first, Susan got mad because other people knew. Well, I'm not entirely sure why she was mad. But
I think she was mad that Steve was talking about it. That's what she was actually mad about. She wasn't mad that he had it. She wasn't mad that he used it. She wasn't mad about any of that. It was that he was discussing it with Patrick and Jeff.
But it's his porno. Why wouldn't he discuss it with Patrick and Jeff?
This is one of her flaws, where she's also
Right?
hypocritical a little
Right.
bit, because she was also talking about it with Sally and Jane.
She was. And then Sally came around and was like, "You better put your videos away." And Susan's like, "Sally! Damn it."
So the dinner party itself is awkward. It's
It
very
starts out very quiet, and you hear clinking and all that with
right.
the
Well, and they're all
forks
just
and knives,
giving each other looks.
right? There's these unspoken words being flying across the table, right?
And
Yes,
mouthed
very much so.
words,
Yeah,
everything
yeah,
like
yeah.
that.
Yeah, Sally said at one point to Patrick, "This is all your fault."
Right?
How is it all Patrick's
How is it
fault?
Patrick's fault? Who knows?
Patrick just took it in stride. He's like, "Oh, okay."
Okay. Whatever. I'm gonna skip over Jane stabbing the meat unless you want to talk about that.
I'm just gonna warn people that you might laugh at something you shouldn't laugh at, but
it is so dark. It
it's
is
dark,
very
it's well
dark
acted,
humor.
and being a vegan, I was like, this is just
It's not supposed to be
it's
funny.
it's very yin yang inside my brain right now,
Uh-huh.
laughing at this scene because I should not be laughing at that at all. My personal sensibilities, my personal ethics, my personal
It's
opinions.
also a short scene, I will say
It is-
that. So it doesn't last more than 10 seconds, really.
But it's
30
long
seconds.
enough. Yeah,
It's long
because
enough.
there's if anyone knows comedy in the way that it gets a little dragged out, right? There's this
Right.
little extra. It's like pregnant, right? There's this
Right.
little extra at the end. That's the way it goes. There's this when you think it's over, it's not over. There's a
Right.
little bit more
There's a
that
little bit
Gina
more.
Bellman delivers, right?
Love Gina. Loved
It's
her
great.
so much.
It was so well done, and
She
you
plays
laugh, and you're
Jane
like,
so
I
well.
shouldn't laugh at all, and yeah,
Yeah. So
yes,
that actually breaks the tension, which is
It
odd
does.
enough. It breaks the tension, but then they start having the discussion of what is erotica and what is porn.
yes,
then
I love
having-
this conversation.
Sally has this great line of, "I've never understood the male obsession with lesbianism, a whole area of sex with nothing for them to do." Just answered my own question, didn't I?
Right?
Never mind.
I love how Steve like wants to dig into how it is erotica, and then
Right.
Susan's like, "Okay, go ahead and tell me the
Tell
whole story."
me the plot.
Yeah, tell me the plot
Describe what happens.
in detail,
Yeah.
mind you.
And-
Yeah, tell me all the details.
And as much detail as you can, right?
This is again Susan like putting all her power, like pulling
Mm-hmm.
all of it together and like lobbing this at him. He's like, you know,
Well, and he does it. That's the
he
thing.
does do it. Yeah,
He does it, and it gets, and everybody joins in because they all start asking questions. Even the therapist is like, "Why? Why would they do that?"
right. All the while not revealing she's a therapist.
Right. They just think she's a lesbian.
They think she's a lesbian.
Yeah.
Which in the context of the table talk, right?
Mm-hmm.
It makes sense.
Right.
And then she thinks that Patrick is gay, which in the context of the table makes sense.
Which is why they think they're going to convert each other.
Right?
We do
So
find out
funny.
in a later episode that they did end up leaving together.
Oh, the episode ended where they woke up in bed together.
Did it? I didn't
Yeah.
actually. I didn't finish that, I guess. I skipped the end credits.
Okay, yeah. No, they woke up together.
Anyway, so then it leads to one of Steve's rants.
Yes.
So Steve has these rants, and I have the whole thing written out, but I'm not going to read it. It's a million miles long.
Oh yeah, because he does. This is a normal thing for this character.
Jack Davenport does a great job with this,
He does.
and he gets so good at it that in a later series, there's one rant that he did in one go.
He does these monologues, right?
Yeah.
Because he gets started and then he just builds momentum and he starts to get a little
And
bit of
he
agency behind it.
Starts, and it's
Yeah.
more like stream of consciousness, and he ends up revealing more than he ever wanted to.
Right?
So in this case, he reveals that he wants to spend the rest of his life with Susan.
Yeah. But it was tucked in, right?
But it
to
was
this-
tucked in this whole thing about how men enjoy
Yeah.
looking at women.
The crux of it
Enjoying
is
the
I'm just a
view.
bloke that likes naked women. That's pretty
Right.
much the crux of the whole thing. But then he somehow inserted the whole idea that he wanted to spend the rest the woman I want to spend the rest of my life with is sitting across from me right now, and that's what matters to me and all these things, and
Well, he says that because he says, that does not stop me from wanting to see several thousand more naked bottoms
Right,
before
right, right, right.
I die,"
Right, right,
which
right.
is what being a bloke is.
Right,
That's his actual wording.
right? It's so funny because
So
the episode ends with Susan revealing that she actually heard that, and
uh-huh, and
it's a
that's what he's gonna
realization.
she's gonna focus on. Because the
Yeah.
rest of it, he ends that whole rant with, "Frankly, girls, I'm not sure how insulted you really ought to be," and then he walks away from the table.
Right.
And Susan doesn't focus on the rest of his whole conversation,
Nope.
just that one little bit,
Right? Which is more important to her anyway.
right?
And that was the whole point she was making anyway, is,
Mhm,
I don't mind this, bring it out and be more open and be more authentic with it.
right,
Don't just hide stuff from me. Be honest about this
right.
shit, right? So, yeah.
Is there anything else you would like to talk about
Not on the I
with
don't think
episode
so. Hold
4?
on.
Oh, I wanted to mention something real quick.
No,
So there's
I
a
don't have anything.
this might get cut out, but there's a desk fan that's behind Susan when she's cleaning.
Oh, yeah.
It looks like a flower sculpture.
It's silver,
It's silver, and I was like, "What is that? Like, is it a
right?
sculpture? What is it?" It's actually a desk fan. It's at 4 minutes and 11 seconds.
Yeah.
It's a German desk fan by Elmer Flattato. I may have messed up that name. Um, but yeah, it actually works as far as I'm aware.
I mean, the way that the camera pans to, like, it's in the shot, so it's really prominent.
Yeah, it's right behind her, and they came out in the
Yeah.
90s.
And it's
So,
a pretty nice little fan. I mean, I thought it
mhm.
was a sculpture.
It's also
So
foam, which is why it's, uh
it looks metal.
yeah, it's foam, which is why it has no cover.
Yeah.
It's so children can't get hurt.
Oh, wow. Okay.
So if you stick your
That makes
hand in it, it's
sense.
foam. It's
Yeah,
not
yeah,
gonna
yeah.
do
That's why I
anything.
thought it was a sculpture, because it didn't have a front or,
That's
any
why
kind
I
of
thought it
protection
was
on
a
it.
sculpture too, but I was like, "Why would he have this sculpture?" But it's a
Yeah.
desk fan,
That's really funny.
right?
Okay. That's really cool.
Okay. Anything else for episode 4?
No?
Alright, episode 5. If I'm being honest, I like the idea of this episode, but
Yeah.
this is my least favorite episode of the
It's my
6.
least favorite one too. Part of it is it was only done in the one area. There was the one location.
There was
It
that. They
Yeah,
also it objectifies
it
the
does.
one girl.
Yeah, it does. Yeah, the whole even the men do
Even
it, and then they click to
even the ladies do it.
the ladies do it, right, and there's this competition comparison situation happening,
Mhm.
right? Yeah, yeah, and it's not really that funny, that's the thing.
It's not. It's a cool idea, and so the whole idea is that it's the same conversation twice, right?
Right,
Once in English and once in another language. So
right.
the language it ended up being in is Hebrew. I'm assuming because the actress, I couldn't find anything about her online. I'm assuming
Mm,
because the actress knew Hebrew and was Israeli. Um,
mhm,
I couldn't find out much about her online, so that would be my assumption. But the way that they wrote it was that any actress could do it as long as they spoke 2 languages, and
mhm,
was the way they wrote it pretty enough. Um,
right, yeah, right body type for it,
right.
right,
So
and it comes up because the interpreter is plainer, as it were, right,
yeah,
and didn't have the attributes that this person did,
especially breasts. This is a big word for a
especially breasts.
big this is a big one for breasts, this
It
episode.
is, yeah, yeah. It's actually said quite a bit in
It
this.
is. But
Yeah.
it also has the only use in the whole series of the word bosom,
Oh, yeah,
and it's said by the girl who has no name.
right? I like how Jeff is the one that's trying to get this girl's attention, trying to connect with
Right.
her, all these things. So, of course, it's a beginning
It's
it ends
awkward
in
and
social
weird.
awkwardness. The whole thing is awkward. And Jeff is, like, trying to warm himself up, and, the guys are trying to help him, like, prop him up a little bit and give him
Mhm.
some support. And then Jeff makes this comment of, "If aliens wanted to wipe humans out, all they would have to do is give women telepathy. The minute
Mhm.
they find out what goes on in our brains, we'd all be killed straight away."
Right? Well, he also says, "Men are not people, we're disgustoids in human form."
Right? Exactly. I mean, at least he's being honest about how he's
Right?
he does get it, like, he does understand it, right? There's comprehension there about where his straightness really comes into play.
Mhm.
Oh my gosh.
But overall, this was not my favorite episode.
It was not mine
Um,
either. Did have a Star Trek reference
it did.
where,
Original
Steve was yeah, the
TOS.
original series, yeah, TOS. Um, there was a red alert mentioned, and, Steve said, "Beam over there," instead of "Go over there."
Yeah, he
So there
also
was
said, "Captain Kirk, it's time for you to shag the alien girlfriend."
exactly, yeah. They were trying to boost him up a bit,
They were. Both
but I thought it
Patrick
was really
and
cool.
Steve were doing it, which is
They
good to
were.
see.
Yeah,
Um,
they were
yeah, and,
championing him, yeah.
even Susan does it later 'cause they all show up at the same time,
Right?
so
Yeah, and then I just found it really awkward that the women were chewing her up too, like, really
yeah, Susan tried not to, she said, fa "Let's face it, girls, we're looking at perfection. Perfect hair, perfect breasts, and a bottom so tight it could do lip sync. But you
mm,
know what? We're grown-up, attractive women in our own right. We're mature enough simply to appreciate her as the thing of beauty that she undoubtedly is." And then it
mhm.
got twisted into them making fun of her price tag on her shoe.
Right. Yeah, and then, Sally said something about, Let me tell the girls behind us," and
Yes.
then Susan's like, "No, no, no, don't do that, that one's got perfect lips."
Yes.
So the comparison continues,
It
right?
does.
That competition continues, yeah.
It does.
Um, yeah, I think this episode kind of fell flat, it didn't really have much to it. Um,
It's a
you kinda
cool idea.
It is a
It
cool
was
idea, but
just
it's kinda
not written
predictable
right.
too. Yeah,
Yeah. This is one of those episodes where the writing was wrong, but it was they wrote based off the idea rather
yeah,
than
yeah.
another way around.
I do have a comment about, Richard Coyle, right? He did act the
So,
second part, like, he
yes.
spoke in gibberish,
He spoke completely in gibberish that he created based off
right?
of the dialogue because he knew the dialogue in English, so he just
Right.
created something.
So, he must have practiced or something because the delivery is
Mhm.
on point. Like,
Mhm.
it is just the timing, the delivery of gibberish. And to be able to do that as an actor, I can only imagine the challenge it was. He must have practiced and practiced and practiced,
Mhm.
with somebody as a buffer to get the timing right, because he did a phenomenal job. I've never seen anything like that,
Right.
actually. So, yeah, that
Yeah,
was really,
because he
really
did
good.
his in completely gibberish. Hers
Yep,
was in, the other side was in it,
in Hebrew.
Hebrew and
Yeah,
English.
right.
So she had it in just 2 different scripts, right?
Yeah,
He had 2 different scripts, but one of them was not any language at all.
right. And she had minimal acting too. It's not like she had to really
Right, she was
she didn't
mostly
have
just
to she
sitting
didn't
there.
she was just sitting there. She only had to turn one way. She did touch her chest a little bit, like, there was some hand movements and stuff, but Jeff was really Richard Coyle was, like, a lot of hand
Yeah.
gestures, and he was in and he was out, and there was a lot of movement to his body, a lot of body language to his, ability to deliver those
Mhm.
lines, whether they were in English or in gibberish, and he did a really, really good job there. I mean, that was probably the most enjoyable part of this
Right.
whole episode, actually. So,
Alright, is there anything else for episode 5 you'd like to discuss?
I don't think so.
Okay. Alright. Episode 6. The Cupboard of Patrick's Love. So, before we get into this too far, there is a bunch of names that are mentioned, and there's a bunch of movies that are mentioned.
Yes.
I did go through and look up everything, but I'm not going to give everything here. Most of them are actors or supermodels or things like that. And then the
Right?
movies are they range from being horror films to being adventure movies. So yeah.
It's the guys having a conversation, and they list a bunch of female actors. There's a couple male actors too, I think.
Well, so they're focused on the female actors who show breasts or
Yes.
show full nakedness or full backle, as they said,
Right.
which is butt.
Oh gosh. So yeah, and they like Jeff even said the comment that if Helen Mirren's in it, then we know we're gonna get a peek at something right along
Right.
those lines. So that the if you think of actors and actresses that do that kind of work, then that's or have added that to their repertoire of their their
I will
movies
say
and stuff.
a lot of them have really interesting backgrounds. Gail Porter's one of them that has a really interesting background. So there's a lot to them,
Yeah.
but I could go over them, but I'm not going to waste everybody's time on that. So if you wanted to look up one of them, an actor or movie, whatever, you have the internet.
Right.
That's how you're listening to us.
Right. Exactly. Just pop yourself over to a search engine.
So what
So
happens in this episode
yeah.
is Jane shows up at Patrick's wanting to talk about his loneliness.
And their spiritual connection that
Yeah.
she feels is walled off.
Their spiritual
Right.
divide.
Yeah, yeah, they haven't
Because
connected.
because they haven't really talked to each other.
Yeah. And Patrick's, like, really, like, questioning this because he's like, I don't go out of my way to
Yeah,
ignore
don't
you."
feel bad. One of my favorite parts is that it's his version to Steve and Jeff is not exact of what happens because we see what happens, right? Because he asked why she was there. He didn't ask why she was there. He said,
Mm.
"Come on in."
Yeah.
He
Yeah.
didn't care why she was there.
Nope. And Jane, of course, just talks
Yeah,
and
because
talks and talks, right?
that's what she does.
But the thing is that during that time is that, Patrick was letting his attention be taken by her, right?
Mhm.
Because he's listening to her talk and all that stuff. And the whole time, we find out later, there's a woman in his bedroom waiting on him.
Right? Naked. Already well, not naked. Down
Yeah.
to her underwear, as he says.
Right, yeah. I didn't get very far, as he was
Well,
describing or whatever.
well, he was like, women get upset when you swap them out at that point. Which tells me he's done that before.
He's done it before. Oh my god. So this is the shallowness of Patrick.
It is.
And him fulfilling his own needs, as
Yes.
it were.
Well, it comes to he comes to find out because Jane opens the door to his cupboard that he has a whole closet of porn, homemade porn.
Videotapes. Yeah,
Yeah.
videotapes.
Of him and a bunch of other women.
Yeah.
It is implied that all of the women knew about this.
It is implied
That they knew that they were
consensual.
being recorded.
Yeah. That they
It's-
consented to it.
They consented, so it's not some pervy thing. They consented
It's not
to it.
explicitly described this way, but the way that it's delivered, the
Right.
way the lines are delivered, the way
Especially
it's
coming
written.
from Susan.
Right. We do get a perspective from Susan that tells us that this is likely consensual stuff.
Right, because Jane is also talking to them about it.
Right.
And Susan has the line of, he keeps them. That's what she's more concerned about.
Right?
She didn't
He
care
still has
that,
it?
right? He still has that. That's the problem.
Oh my gosh. So Susan's conversation with the ladies, right, is butted up against Steve's conversation with Patrick. And Steve and Patrick get into this argument about having naked rights
Yes, to Susan.
to Susan. And of course, Susan's not a part of this conversation,
No.
so there's no way she could input any of her opinion in this.
Right.
And so Steve's like, wait, you don't have naked rights to Susan. I have naked rights to Susan. I'm the one dating her right now. And Patrick's like, but when the tape was made,
Yep.
I did have naked rights to
Because
Susan.
she
so
was
I
my
get to keep it."
girlfriend.
Yeah, she was my girlfriend, so I get to keep it. And I can't say I can't say I would disagree with either side of that argument,
I
right?
agree with Patrick. I'm going to be
Right?
honest.
I mean,
As long as he's not sending it out anywhere and not showing it to other people and it's for his own enjoyment,
right?
it's his.
What's interesting to me is that Steve made the same argument to Jane when he said, I shouldn't have to go to the funeral because you and I are not together anymore and I'm not beholden to it's exact same argument.
It's the exact same. Yep.
So when it benefits Steve, he wants to turn the argument around.
Right. So eventually, Patrick just leaves because Steve
Right.
won't let it go.
Right?
Patrick just leaves. Next day, Susan goes to Patrick to
Yes.
clear everything up, to make sure he's not going to tell anybody or not show anybody. And she doesn't care that he has it. She doesn't care that he still watches it. She doesn't care about any of that. What she cares about is if he shows it to somebody else.
Right.
And he's like, I would never do that. Only for Steve to come barging in.
Exactly.
Saying she's never done that with me.
Exactly. Exactly. Oh, this turns into such a mess.
It does,
and
so fast.
Susan has every right to be angry.
Yes. Well, I have a theory that so this was the night before when Patrick leaves, right? That Patrick recorded over it that night. He went out specifically to find somebody to look like Susan.
That's a good theory. I like that
to
theory.
to record over it as much as he could, and he knew that Wicker Man was at the end. And so that's why he showed it to Steve.
Because
he knew he could, and if it ever came out that he did, right. Oh, by the way, that wasn't really
That's
Susan.
Not Susan.
That was never really Susan.
Yeah.
It just didn't work because Susan showed up.
There's so many bad decisions on the guy's point of view. All of them, right? Jeff sort of got drawn into this, but between Steve and Patrick, so many bad decisions were made between them about this. And a lot of it has to do with they took Susan's consent.
Yes, they did.
And didn't get further consent on anything on this. They just stole all of it, all of her agency on this, and took her out of the equation, took her out of the conversation altogether.
Which is why she's upset.
That's why she's mad. Yeah.
And she's upset for a lot of things by the end of it. Mostly Steve looking at it and wanting to look at it, and Patrick showing it.
Right.
She didn't.
And then Patrick taping over it. She got mad at that.
She was mad about that, but I don't think she would have been mad about that for very long if it wasn't on the tails of everything else.
Yeah. She had a great quote about being angry. She goes, well, I'm angry. Making sense gets in the way.
Right? I don't have to make sense.
No. Also, don't tell me I can't be angry. I can be angry. This is she really wants to punch that and punch holes in their argument, right?
I can be angry
what she's been
about
doing
this.
the whole time.
I'm allowed to be angry about this. And come to find out, Sally was also there and hid in the closet, the cupboard.
Which means she wanted to watch the video too.
She did. And then not even a minute later, guess who shows up to deal with Patrick's loneliness?
Because she was worried about the size, or
the size of his loneliness.
Yeah, worried about the size of Patrick's loneliness, in quotes. Oh my gosh, so funny. So we kind of glossed over the fact that the ladies were talking and the men were talking.
Mm-hmm.
And when the ladies are talking, there's a couple of things I wanted to go over because Sally states she could never have sex with another woman. Of course, now Jane is bi. Mm-hmm. And she's like, man, if I just didn't want a man, you two were first on the docket, right? And then Sally's like, I would never be able to have sex with a woman. And it's not because she's a woman. It's because what if she has the smaller bottom?
Yeah.
She couldn't get over the fact that she might be compared to the other woman in a way and judged against each other. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my gosh, so funny.
She also says bottoms are our natural enemy. Sally does.
And she talks about how hers is like expanding
constantly
or whatever.
Snacking behind her.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It's so funny. But then Susan has a really great quote about men in foreplay.
Yes.
Did you catch that
one? She
one?
says they think the purpose of foreplay is to make your neck as wet as possible and drown your ears. They have the technique of an affectionate dog, but without the loyalty.
Exactly. Oh gosh, so funny. Oh, so good too. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So good. And then when the guys are talking, somehow Jeff gets to interject between the naked rights and the Steve and Patrick fighting over the tape and all that. And Jeff distinguishes different kinds of sex. And Jeff's like, there's a difference between commitment sex and full sex. And what Susan gave to Patrick was full sex,
And
and
having
what
commitment
you get,
sex with
Steve, is
Steve.
commitment sex. It's not the same thing. I was like, "What?"
Ah,
It makes sense
it
in Jeff's
makes
head.
sense to Jeff.
Oh, it's too
Yeah,
funny.
this whole episode it does start Patrick's continuing theme of he says, "I can explain." Yes. And then gets confused by him saying yes.
'Cause he tells on
He does.
himself,
He immediately, "I can explain. I'll just tell you." And is confused that he told on
right?
himself.
He's like, "Why can't I lie, man?" He, like, has this knee-jerk reaction to just tell the truth right off the bat,
Right.
and I think it's because he doesn't scare from the consequences, right?
Right.
He has been rejected by women, he's been, objectified by women, there's
Mhm.
been a bunch of things that Patrick has been through, and I guess he's just built some of the calluses to that, and he's like, "I'll just tell you straight up.
That's fine. Well, he
Not
gets
even gonna get to play games with you
except he's
anymore."
confused by his own reaction, which is
He is
great.
confused because he's like, "Why am I not playing the games, man?" So funny.
So this episode starts that continues on.
It does continue on, it's great.
Um,
I like that growth for him, though, that
mhm,
he's like, I'll just tell you the truth."
right. So this episode ends with, well, first Susan breaking up with Steve because there's too many
She says something really great. She's like, "You're not afraid of the question of,
the
like, asking me to marry me," right?
yeah,
You're not afraid of the question. You're afraid of the answer. You're afraid of me saying yes,
yes.
because 'cause you're not willing to walk away from the cupboard, as it were, as a symbol,
Yeah.
right? You're not ready to commit to one person.
Yeah.
You want access to things like the cupboard and the tape and all of that
Yeah.
without any kind of consequence to a relationship, and that's why she's letting him go.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So that's where it ends there, but then she does show up at his place later after a whole night of drinking for him.
for the guys, yeah,
Yeah. The guys drank so much. Patrick's passed out on his own couch.
right?
Jeff is stumbling to get home and doesn't make it home because, as we
No.
find out, he's sleeping on Steve's floor.
Floor or the other side of the bed? I couldn't tell. It was
I'm
dark
not
in there,
sure
I
if
couldn't
he was
tell.
on the bed and just rolled off at one point.
Right, right, yeah. He does show up in the background, though, right?
Right.
When Susan shows up and then
She takes off the coat that has nothing on it underneath.
I was a little confused by that, scene because she's like, ask me to marry you," and then he's too drunk and too tired and too
I
not
think
with it to
I
even
think it
bother
made more
with that.
sense in her head,
Yeah.
and then when she actually went to do it, things go awry as always,
Oh, of course.
including Jeff being there.
Right? That was totally unexpected. She didn't think
It
Jeff would be
What
there.
she really should have done was waited till the next day.
Yeah. Yeah.
But
So
it
funny.
it ends on a note where did they get back together? Did they not? So if
Oh,
the
yeah.
series stopped right there, it would have been fine.
It
I
would
I
have
think
been
that I
fine.
think that was what they were going for, was if
Yeah.
the series stopped.
And it could have. I mean, it would have been fine.
It could have, but then we wouldn't get season 2, 3, and 4,
True. True.
which all
Yeah.
of those seasons are really good.
So I have a little bit of trivia in Patrick's house, right?
Okay.
His flat or his apartment,
Yeah.
right? Um, and there's a large print behind them of a woman. That's
Mhm.
a woman's face, right? Like a portrait type face, and it's done in a sort of a comic book
It
style.
is.
Anyway,
It's very pop
um,
arty.
it's very pop arty because it's Roy Lichtenstein is
Yeah.
who did it.
That makes sense.
And so, it has to do the concept of the actual drawing has to do with the melodrama of women and how
Mm,
they go into these situations, and really what the whole thing is speaking to is the melodrama of the group.
that makes
And
sense.
that's the reference that it's taking, because the actual, little bubble in the, thing.
Mhm.
Oh, it doesn't say it on my notes. Dang it, I didn't copy that part. But it says, I'd rather drown than, call Brad," something along those lines. She's like, "I'll rather drown in these tears or drown in this water rather than
Uh-huh.
call anyone to help me, especially a man," you know, that kind of thing. So
Oh
the whole
gosh.
painting or the whole artwork actually speaks to
The
the
group, yeah.
sensibilities, yeah, of the group, yeah, and how dramatic they are and how they get themselves in situations and have to decide how to get out of them. So, yeah.
Okay. You have anything else for episode 6?
Nope, that was it.
All right. This was a really good one to end on. I really like this one. Any final comments?
I really like this show.
Yeah.
Give it a try.
It's so funny. And
It's very
it's
funny.
so funny.
And
Highly recommend.
season 2, series 2
Yeah.
is very funny. So,
So good.
yeah.
So good. Okay. Well, then I think we're good. Next time we're going to be
Right?
doing something special, so
Wait for that.
look
Yeah,
out
we
for
got a
that.
little gift for you guys. Thanks for hanging out with us this year. Um, and you guys be kind to yourselves, be kind to others, show some compassion,
Love yourself,
love yourself,
even
and we'll
if
see
it
you on
is
the
the
next one.
sexual form.
What
Please don't tell us
Hey,
about that.
yeah, don't tell us what's in your cupboard.
All right. Bye,
Thanks,
everybody.
guys.